welcome back to Fantasy Podcast today. This is our FPL podcast that is made weekly, that's released on the Thursday, probably a little bit later now because we're actually recording it on a Thursday. But, oh well, it's the international break, a little bit of a break from FPL, a little bit of a break from club football, which I do appreciate from time to time. How about you two?
Hate it.
It's kind of.
It's just like
there's nothing
so
interesting
boring.
internationally. I'm not gonna watch.
I don't know. International football is only fun when it's competitive, and I know it's World Cup qualifiers, which is competitive, but Malaysia are out, so I don't really care about it.
And we've got the Asian
know what
Cup
I mean?
qualifiers.
Yeah, that's true, but like, yeah, I think I have no problem with international football. It's just like it's like when the season's over, you have the like few weeks break without football, and it's just like, oh, what do you do? It's all right. It's fun. Ronaldo broke the record, and that's all
Yeah.
that matters.
We'll watch Ronaldo
110.
score 2 goals. So this is our first break from FPL. How are your teams doing so far?
Mark,
Rafi?
you go first.
Fine. I got 40 something points. How many did I get?
46.
46. Which is not the greatest,
It's not the greatest.
but we have someone way better. Isn't that right, Afi?
Oh God! All right. I had one of the worst weeks of football ever. Actually,
In
it was
terms
bad.
of
United
FPL?
won. In terms of FPL, I scraped 29 points. I can't even say it without a straight face. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing. But we'll bounce back. We'll bounce back.
A
Always
bit,
at the
yeah.
wheel. Always at the wheel. So we'll bounce back.
Oh well.
I'm not too stressed about it.
Oh well, your captaincy wasn't exactly the greatest choice. Bruno Fernandes with this second consecutive blank in this FPL season so far. After the hat trick, is it the hat trick syndrome?
No, I don't think so. I just think that like within the past, when you watch his performance against Wolves, he just didn't really have much of an impact on the game. Maybe he was just like unable to due to the fact that Pogba was playing behind him instead of to his left. Because for these past few games, Pogba has been a left winger practically instead of a center midfielder, and that's actually allowed Bruno to be more creative in regards to his runs. Because Bruno plays really. Because oddly enough, I say that Bruno has the best runs behind the defender in the team, just behind of Cavani. Well, now Ronaldo also, but like I think just because Pogba just wasn't able to be as creative as he could be in that game against Wolves, Bruno just couldn't make the best out of like the fact that he's really good with runs and he repockets defenders and stuff like that. But again, I think he has to adapt to the fact that now Pogba won't be able to play on the left as often because we have Ronaldo coming in. So I expect Sancho and Greenwood and Rashford to be on the wings instead of Paul Pogba. But Bruno will bounce back. It's Bruno Fernandes. He's fine. He's fine.
And also his second consecutive yellow card of this season.
Oh, that's the worry. I think the problem with Bruno is that his yellow cards don't even come from any form of foul. It's just him having a loud ass mouth. He complains to the ref, "Hey, yo, what's happening?" And he gets a yellow card. He does it every
Wait, in a row?
Yeah.
Doesn't
Second
that doesn't that mean he misses the next game?
No. Only when you get up to 10 yellow cards.
Oh, it's 10.
Yeah. Oh well. And we have to keep in mind that Bruno Fernandes has had a goal cancelled out in that game against Wolves, but that worked to my benefit. I don't know about Mark. Did you have Bruno Fernandes?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I didn't captain him.
I didn't captain him. Wasn't crazy
I
enough to captain him.
Antonio.
Yes, we're in the Antonio gang. the third consecutive game week where he scored over 10 points. It's an 11-point haul, and had Conor Gallagher not crossed that ball in the dying minutes of the West Ham and Crystal Palace game, he would have gotten 24 points as a captain, 12 if you didn't have him. Does he become a must-have in your team?
Who? Conor Gallagher?
No.
Or Antonio?
Antonio.
Conor Gallagher, hell yeah. I hope so. But Antonio, yeah. But by the way he's been playing recently, I think he has to be a must-have in like everyone's team now. Like there is no excuse not to have Antonio when he's putting up a 3.31 xG.
Oh, well.
Like that is really high.
Yeah, it's a very, very high goal statistic. Meanwhile, we're going to talk more about how our game weeks have been so far. We're going to move on to the game week preview, where we're going to talk about it in depth, in person. So game week 3 has gone pretty well for me. Pretty. 66-point haul. Antonio, the correct captain, 22 points. Salah with a return. Ivan Toney, everyone sold him. I'm happy. I'm one of the Toney keepers, and I get to hold him and get his return. Jack Grealish again. You guys slagged me off in the first week when we were doing the podcast. You guys told me I shouldn't buy him. Well, look at me now. Look at me now. Three returns.
Pass the ball.
two returns, and then Luke Shaw with a clean sheet. Alexander Arnold with a bonus point. That's a game week rank of the 1,400,000 in the world, and then got me into the top 300k, which is where I finished last. You guys.
I guess I'll go first. Had a bit of howler, not gonna lie. My back three of Alexander Arnold, Shaw, and Ayling. That's fine, I guess. Luke Shaw had the highest points haul between them, but I think my biggest mistake was most definitely in midfield. I accumulated 12 points total from the midfield, and I had Bruno captain. Then he had not the best performance. I think also a big error in my judgment was the fact that I took out Mo Salah and replaced him with Paul Pogba, just because Pogba's been playing good also, and I didn't expect much between Chelsea and Liverpool. I thought it'd be quite a stalemate in regards to like how much Salah could do in that match. So I didn't expect him to perform that well, or at least like grab points. But of course he gets a penalty. So
and the 3 bonus points.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Emile Smith-Rowe, again, I don't know why I keep having faith in Arsenal players. He's just a talented player, and I know this game is all off the backing of statistics, but I just have they're talented players, and I thought I could have faith in them. But Iheanacho, absolute howler over selection. Leicester lost. What? How much was it?
Leicester didn't lose. It was 2-1.
Leicester didn't lose. It was 2-1. Sorry.
To Norwich.
I messed up. Yeah, I mixed it up. Sorry. But still, terrible selection. Shouldn't have done that. Lukaku, again. What's another howler in my judgment? Playing against a team like Liverpool, I expected Lukaku to go crazy, bag a goal or two, but he was pocketed by Virgil van Dijk, so fair enough.
Not really. I mean, it
not
was just
really.
hold off. I mean, he pocketed Matip a few times. That was quite fun.
I just thought Lukaku would perform really good and
He
score.
just didn't
That's all. That's why
score.
I put him into the squad. Yeah.
Although that Mount
my
shot
bench
was a howler.
I should have put Tony on the bench.
Put Tony on the third choice bench.
I still have faith in Ivan Tony.
Well, he has quite reasonable fixtures coming up. He's got Brighton coming up next, so expect a return from him or two. Or, better than some. Better than
20
some
goals.
that's coming up. Better than some.
29 points for me. So yeah, I don't even want to talk about last week, and I don't even want to talk about the game week anymore. So I'm can go for it.
Yeah.
Mark?
Well, I had Mendy, as usual, 3 points. The Liverpool game, everyone knows now. I had Duffy, who did Duffy things. He just defended well, but still lost. Tishmakas, which I was shocked by, that didn't start against Chelsea, and Robertson actually came back. In terms of Robertson, I think he did okay. Nothing too amazing of her performance. It was a good performance, but then Tishmakas came on in 70th, 80th minute, and I lost the substitution. And I did a gambling call on Sergio Reguilon, which worked out amazingly because he got 9 points. So that was great. Bruno Fernandes, we know what happened. Suchek, second game week in a row, he's gotten 2 points, not really doing that much. Admittedly, he's only got a 1.1 XG, which is decent, but then again, he is a CDM. Saïd bin Rama really didn't do greatly against Crystal Palace. I think he has a 0.65 XG now, which is not good for his standards. Pata, again, I expected him to start for Liverpool, but didn't, and then get subbed on. Another 1 point. Captained Mikel Antonio, which was the greatest call probably the greatest call I did this week. Kane, 1 point. Honestly, that Watford game, I watched it kind of dead. Lukaku, all right. He just didn't score, that's all. But I think he played well. That's how I got 46 points.
It's important to note that you have played your wild card, which we'll be talking a little bit more in this episode. How do you think your team is going to, cope on within the next coming weeks?
I think it'll do all right. I mean, West Ham have got some okay fixtures. I think I swapped out Fernandes for Salah. I did for this week. It's basically the same team that I have, but Fernandes out for Salah. I think it'll be alright. It's Liverpool Leeds this next weekend. West Ham got Southampton, Crystal Palace for Tottenham. Chelsea got Villa, and as we said earlier, Brentford and Brighton. So, and I think I'll be all right for the upcoming game week or so.
Afif, one common trend that us two have that you don't is a selection, or at least one West Ham player. Do you think you'll be getting a West Ham player in sooner rather than later, or is it something you want to avoid?
I most definitely will. I was just actually peeking at the fixtures for most of the teams, and I don't see West Ham having too much of a struggle in their next run, except for Man United, of course. I think it's obvious who I'll put in, but I think as of right now, maybe it was a mistake. I think the issue with West Ham coming into this new season was just the fact that off of last season, where they were absolutely impressive and really good, the loss of people like Jesse Lingard could halt their momentum, and I expected that coming into the start of their new season, but they just haven't lost that momentum whatsoever. So yeah, Antonio and Ben Rama. There. I'm just gonna say those two will definitely be in my squad coming into the next game week.
Yeah, Ben Rama.
And they also signed some Russian Football League players. Vlasic sounds like a good signing from what the feedback from what is received so far. let's move on then.
And
Huh? Yes.
no, wait. They also signed Alex Kral from Czech Republic. He's also highly expected good player, I guess, from Slavia Prague, I believe.
Yeah, that'll be
So
some.
that's another one to watch out. Basically, another Suchek, I think.
Yeah, it's another
Just,
Suchek.
shorter.
Yeah, and Declan Rice as well. You know, that to increase the squad depth as we come into Europe, which will be important to talk about when all of the Champions League, Europa League, and Mickey Mouse Cup Conference League starts. But we'll leave that for another day. But before that, we're going to talk about our teams that we should be targeting coming up into this week as we look ahead to not the upcoming game week, but future fixtures to come along in the medium to long term run. So then, teams that we should be targeting in the medium to long term run. I've also made some very good graphics towards players that I think you should be looking in with, a watch list with the players, that play for their respective clubs, and some stats as well. But, you can enjoy that whilst Afif is talking about Manchester United, which is the team you've been going onto. Take it away.
Yes, sir. Okay, first of all, I'm not going to claim that their run is easy. It's not. I'm just going to go off the basis of the FDR, and which is 7 matches, right? So here we have, going to the long term, United have Newcastle first game back from the international break at home, where I expect Ronaldo to make his debut. That's 3 points in the bag right there. I think what people underestimate is the fact that 2 of the red fixtures, which is West Ham and Tottenham, are both away matches, and United won't lose away matches. I think it literally comes from, okay, first of all, I'm not a statistics merchant. Mark and Wei Hong are very heavy on their statistics. I'm literally just passionate for the fact that I love this football club so much. But basically, West Ham and Tottenham away from home, and also Leicester away from home, these 3 matches, United will at least scrape a point. And for this, the only reason for this being so is just because when you watch United play away, they will always push when they're losing to get a goal back, and if they're not, if it's level, they're going to score at one point. Trust me. If United have an away run, it will be it's just a matter of time before they score. So always look at the fact that when United are playing away, they are likely going to grab a point out of it, and someone's going to score. I think what's hard about United is that the scores are going to be quite sporadic, quite different. Because I see Mason Greenwood performing really well right now. But of course, with Cristiano Ronaldo coming in, minutes for Greenwood will be quite scarce until Rashford returns, that is. So I think Greenwood will still be playing, but he'll be playing alongside Ronaldo. So maybe on the right or on the left. I still don't know how they're going to accommodate Cavani and Ronaldo. So I think as of right now, the one player that will always start for United, and we know will always start, is Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, and Cristiano Ronaldo. And I know Ronaldo will start straight away. There's no way Ronaldo's not going to start. He's going to phase into the United team really well. He's Premier League proven. So yeah, no arguments there. So, and then we look at Man United's other fixtures, right? So I made my case for them playing away with West Ham, Leicester, and Tottenham. Then we have Aston Villa, Everton, and Liverpool. The Aston Villa game should be a straightforward one. The Everton game is going to be a bit tougher, and the Liverpool game will be probably the hardest amongst the crowd. Now, I'm literally just saying I'm at a phase where I'm like super delusional about the fact that United are really good, but I literally have so much justification for doing so. With Cristiano coming back, the atmosphere at the locker room is going to change. I think we'll be building up the momentum to actually like challenge for bigger trophies, not smaller trophies. And honestly speaking, I just think that there's going to be some good football playing now because of the fact that we have a reliable striker who's always going to score. Before this, it was really hard with people like Anthony Martial and Cavani not starting all the time. Now we have a proven starter who will literally always score goals. And I think this has created more of an incentive to keep players like Luke Shaw in the squad, because the fact of the matter is that Luke Shaw, Sancho, Sancho isn't being picked by a lot of people, and fair enough. He didn't play that good against Wolves. He just didn't have the space that he's usually used to in the Bundesliga, where he can pocket defenders, get dribble past them, and set up an assist, which is what he does all the time, right? But now with players like Cristiano Ronaldo in the box, Luke Shaw, Sancho, whoever the right midfielder is, Bruno Pogba, a lot of these players will have a more justified reason to bring in more deliveries into the cross, and Ronaldo will bag it into the net. So I don't think people should be worried about starting players like Luke Shaw or Jadon Sancho in the near future, just because of the fact that we have finally a reliable striker who's going to constantly score. So yeah, that's why I think one should start thinking about putting players like Sancho, like Shaw, back in their lineup if they already haven't. I do understand taking out Bruno Fernandes just because of the sake that Ronaldo's in the squad now. It's going to be harder for Bruno to get free kicks, get penalties, but United look much more solid than what the statistics say. Because statistics said that we should have lost against Wolves, but we didn't. So yeah, that is my justification for why you should start putting in my United players in your squad right now. I'm a passion merchant. I'm a bit delusional, but all these at the wheel.
So take it with it. Take it
with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Salt from the bloody ocean.
Well, what do you think about United players? I'm personally going to plan to remove Luke Shaw for Antonio Rudiger within the coming game weeks.
I mean, it's destined that Luke Shaw's going to start. That's all that matters. Luke Shaw always starts.
Yeah, but will he get the points more than the 2 against, fixtures such as, West Ham, Everton, are newly refined team when it comes to attacking play. Damari Gray, Alan, the things that they're doing, they're newly refined, and we can't underestimate the teams of Leicester and Liverpool when they play against them.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I actually want to wait, I don't have them, but let's say I do, right?
Yes.
I'm not sure whether it's like the smartest thing to transfer him out, but more of just put him on your bench and see how he plays. Like if he's playing all right, like the stats show right now, he's not doing the greatest creatively. But if you just do like an eye test, see where he's actually losing the ball, or if he's doing what he did for England at the Euros, just bombing down the left side. And if he does that like he did in the Euros, I think that's when you keep him in your team. But if you see him not doing that as often, I guess, yeah, you should look for another defender to transfer him out. Because if he's not going to get the points that you need, then it's definitely a transfer out like I did. Like, I think, 2 points in a row for game week, and I immediately subbed them out for game week 3, or transferred them out for game week 3.
And also it's important to note that Luke Shaw was on the free kicks before Ronaldo comes in, and whether that has any repercussions remains to be seen as well.
I think that will, because it affects his XG, because XG is the collective of any form of creativity. So that includes set pieces, corners, direct free kicks. So
yeah,
I think you may see a dip in potential points.
Let's move on then to what Mark has to say about his team that we should be targeting coming up this week, or the coming medium to long-term fixtures. Arsenal, take it away.
Yep. I have decided to pick Arsenal because all of their fixtures, according to the FDR, we have Norwich, we have Burnley, Tottenham, and Brighton are considered 3, and then we have Crystal Palace and Villa next. Arsenal, bottom of the league. Their highest expected goals player, Rob Holding, in central defense, with an XG of 0.43. And for people like Afif, who don't know what I'm saying, it's shit. It's so bad. But the bright side is that Aubameyang's back to full fitness. I believe Lacazette is coming back fully fit as well. Some interesting things were like Kolasinac playing in that Man City game. Ainsley Maitland-Niles hasn't left the club, so maybe he's gonna start soon after his Instagram debacle. Some players to look at, I guess, is Aubameyang to see whether he really gets going. Because you're playing Norwich. Norwich are like the worst defensively in the league. Even worse than Arsenal. Yeah, surprising. But yeah, Kusaka is another one. Maybe in terms of overall as playing, getting the ball up the field, Bukayo Saka. Martinelli is another interesting player to look at. Maybe as more of a support to Aubameyang, because he's kind of a replacement for Lacazette until he comes back. But he's a really good player to look out for. A lot of people are looking at Emil Smith-Rowe and thinking like, oh, okay, he started all 3 games. He's supposed to be this great player, which he is. He's the second highest expected goals. But then you do have Odegaard, who last season, if I'm remembering correctly, last season he, from open play, he was second best in the league of chance creation from open play, second to De Bruyne, which is really good. And I still don't get why people are complaining about Odegaard, because he's amazing. He played amazingly for Arsenal after his injury. So I think if he starts Odegaard, Bukayo Saka definitely starts, and Gabriel Martinelli. So I think those 3 players would be very interesting to look at. But I mean, the red card to Xhaka is not great. I think it's going to be a midfield of like Sambi Lokonga and Thomas Partey, which not the best creatively. So I think Odegaard really has to pick up the pace there. If we were to look a bit more further on, like Gameweek 5, you have Burnley, who we know is not a great team, and seems to be like an easy play. But Burnley, the way they play tends to be very aggressive and very physical. And then if we see players like Nicola Pepe, we have, again, Emil Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, Bukayo Saka. I think they will find it difficult to play against Burnley, mainly because of how physical they play. Like Tarkovsky is very rough. Ben Mee, their whole defense, I think, is quite tough to play. And then you have the Tottenham game, which the North London derby. I think that's an easy win for Tottenham based on the 3 game weeks. Brighton played well, but depending on how Arsenal play against Norwich and Burnley, I think that's a game that goes either way. Crystal Palace, again, the same thing. Villa, even though the FDR says it's an easy game, I don't think that's a really easy game. I think it's a good challenge for Arsenal. But overall, I think if they play it right, I think Arsenal would be a great shout, especially with the players that I mentioned earlier. I think those players will get good games out of the upcoming game weeks.
Yeah. What do you think about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang?
I think he needs to make sure he's really like fully fit, because he had malaria and then recently COVID. I mean, in the Chelsea game, he was only fit to play 30 minutes or so. He looked lackluster. He didn't have the energy that he had. And then the Man City game, he only played for about 60 minutes. Again, it's the same thing. But Aubameyang is that guy that wants to just run at the defense. And since you're playing against Norwich, I think that's going to be really easy. Burnley is the same because of how slow most of their defense is. So if he gets the balls that he needs to run at the defense or cut through the defense and be one-on-ones against the keeper, I think that would be a good thing for him. But he needs to be fully fit and prepared to play like 90 minutes of football. And same thing with Lacazette when he comes back fully fit. I know he played against Man City for 31 minutes. Again, same thing, not that great. And Ketia has an ankle injury, and Balogun is just not ready for the Premier League at all. So the pressure on Aubameyang and Lacazette is really immense. Maybe you would see someone like Martinelli ease that pressure a bit, but I don't think you really should rely on him too much, even though I did shout him out just now. So the pressure is really on for Aubameyang and Lacazette to start scoring.
What about Tomiyasu? Do you think he'll be attacking down the wings? The new signing from Bologna? Although I haven't seen much of him.
Okay, Tomiyasu is someone who's a good two-footer. He can play on right back or as a central defender. His main strong points are he mainly for Bologna played as a center back, and then when their right back got injured, he would play on the right, and they would have their backup play, where Tomiyasu play. He's more of a if I remember correctly, he's more of like a ball-playing defender. Has good passing numbers. His defense was really good. I think he recently played in the Olympics and played really well. So, and then he's also 6'2", very good in the air. So yeah, I think that's a good signing, but it's just Arsenal, you know. I mean, who does he really play alongside that would really benefit for Arsenal, like for him and Arsenal in general? Like, I guess Rob Holding will do all right with Tomiyasu, but it's all the system. It's all in whatever Arteta wants him to do. But I think mainly he's just brought in as another solid center back for Arsenal to have. Maybe even play with him with Ben White to retain possession. But Tomiyasu is a good signing, but how they use him is a complete gamble for us to know as of now. Because he was just signed like yesterday, deadline day. So, but I expect good things from him, hopefully.
Afif, will you be targeting any FPL assets from Arsenal of late? I know you briefly said that on the start that you should avoid players like Camille Smith-Rowe.
Yeah, what do you call? I do plan on taking Emil Smith-Rowe out of my squad. Honestly speaking, like matches like Norwich, Burnley, Crystal Palace, these are games that you expect Arsenal to win, and I have no doubt that on a regular basis they will win. But I just don't see them like grabbing a confident win with the morale that they're at right now. It's really hard. I feel like football is really heavy on the fact that momentum carries a team forward, and right now Arsenal are looking really, really, really down. But honestly, I as much as it is funny as a United fan to see a team like Arsenal perform really bad, it's also like quite sad. So I do hope that they pick up momentum again, just for the sake of fantasy, of course, but also just for the sake of their own integrity. But I do agree with what Mark said. They just have to play their cards right, and they need to. The big name players like Aubameyang, Smith Rowe, like Saka, like Lacazette. These players need to step up. Relatively speaking, this Arsenal squad is quite young, and they need the experienced players to actually carry the team forward. Xhaka, they need these players to carry the team forward and bring back that morale.
You're getting red cards.
Not
exactly.
Xhaka. Don't look up to Xhaka. If you do, you're just gonna pass and that's it. You're immobile. You get red cards. You argue, fight. Unless you want to do that, then go ahead.
What do you call it? The FDR is like basically like saying something screener. Tottenham should be like quite red for them, especially with the momentum that Tottenham have right now. I see Tottenham taking 3 points against Arsenal there, even though it is at the Emirates. But yeah, looking at these games, when you look at and when you think about Arsenal, you expect for them to take at least a few points away from these next few fixtures. But I think it's going to be tough on them. But I have no doubt that if they play their cards right, and if Arteta gets sacked, I'm kidding. But
that'll be good for the Netflix documentary or the Amazon
would be
Prime.
good.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that. This is going to be such an entertaining first 30 minutes of the documentary. It's going to be amazing.
I do hope Arsenal pick it up. I do hope that they can gain some momentum back, because I don't think sitting 20th is great for the players, for the managers, and for the fans. So, yeah, best of luck for Arsenal.
Right,
I will not be picking any players from Arsenal right now. Yeah, it's actually a question way. Continue.
I'm going to pick the best 4 out of the bunch. One of the best fixtures coming up this for one team in the next 4 game weeks at the very, very least is Wolves. Watford, Brentford, Southampton, and Newcastle. Ooh, that sounded like a poem, but as you can see on the bottom of your screen, all green fixtures, half of them are at home and the ones are at away. They have dodgy defenses. Speaking of dodgy defenses, those defenses might have, hope in looking at players like Adama Traore and Raul Jimenez getting high amounts of statistical numbers. Like their underlying stats are very, very good. And Adama Traore, as you can see on the screen right now, has an expected stats of expected goal per 90 minutes as a 0.5, which is quite high for a position that he plays, although he hasn't scored many goals so far, which is one of the reasons why you might not want to target Wolves players, because, that shows that Adama Traore isn't, a particularly solid finisher. But, he's one of the assets, 6.0 is a very, very good price for a midfielder, I believe he's classified as, at least off the top of my head. Raul Jimenez, a very, very good player, but he has to take that time to gel into the squad. He had that horrific injury that we all as fans of football, not just for FPL, don't really like to see. But he has to gel back into the team, and I hope for FPL's sake he can do that. But he's a very, very good option. He's against the likes of Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Bamford. He's also got a price drop recently as well, ahead of the upcoming run of fixtures. I believe he's a 7.4 right now. He has some okay underlying stats, 0.37 expected return involvement per 90 minutes. So that's quite good for Wolves. And they also have really good XG, 4.63 this whole season so far, from the 3 games that we've played so far. So this controls that Wolves are getting those chances. It's all about finishing them at the moment. And I also look at players like Trincao, 0.1. I just simply put him there because he's one of the options. But that might be me being a little bit greedy. Trying to save that 0.1 million. Outside of that, I look at players like Martial, for example. Yes, he hasn't done that much for the position that he plays so far, but he's 4.5. If Wolves do keep some clean sheets, he'll be one to keep out for. The one thing I'm really, really interested is player like Semedo, for example. Because Semedo is quite an expensive player, 4.9, although he's dropped down in price so far. He's very, very attacking. He's very, very attacking. I'm gonna lay down some numbers for you here, right? So Semedo's stats is for Wolves so far. So his expected goal involvement, his expected assist is 0.21 this whole season so far. But with the underlying stats doesn't really give it much justice. But looking at how he plays, doing a little bit of the eye test, he is one of the good assets, and he has a prospect in getting some attacking returns as well. So he kind of can get some returns for you, as well as clean sheets if Wolves keep any of them so far. What do you guys think about Wolves?
To be fair, Wolves are a really good team, and I was actually quite relieved that United were able to scrape 3 points against Wolves, because I was so shocked to see the performance of people like Adama Traore, and Trincao. Trincao was exceptional. And I think Wolves, again, like their match against Tottenham, they're just really unlucky not to get the ball in the back of the net. Times where the ball was literally in the net, and then when Bissaka comes sliding in, clearing it off the line. Stuff like that only happens to teams like Wolves, I swear. But they're a solid team. Traore, Raul Jimenez, Francisco Trincao, Ruben Neves. These are all really, really good players. And I think as long as if they score goals, this is a really good team. They just need to score goals. So I do agree with Wei Hong that you should put some faith in Wolves players. But as I think the day Raul Jimenez starts picking up his pace again, I think is the day that like big six teams and the big teams will be scared of a team like Wolves, because they are a really good team and they deserve to be way better than where they are now. So yeah.
Mark, what do you think about Wolves? Will you be investing in
Yeah,
Wolves?
I agree. Yeah, I agree with Afif, because if you look at every game that they've lost, like they created like the better quality chances in all of their games. Like the only problem was just their finishing. Like you've seen Adama Traore get so many good spaces as well, only for him to either miss or just like get saved easily. Like if they train Adama Traore and to be a great finisher, like I think that's a really good player you have on your hands, because he's got the dribbling, he's got the speed, and the baby oil,
And the muscular.
and the muscles. But he just needs the finishing, and that's it, because his XG is amazing, 1.5. Raul Jimenez, when he returns, plus a great finishing Adama Traore, I think that's what people need to fear if it ever happens, because that is the key for Wolves to start winning games.
And then looking at the past, FPL managers tend to look at players that have performed in the past, or more biased towards players that have performed in the past, because they are reliable. At the end of the day, Raul Jimenez back in the day was a very, very reliable FPL asset. He would get you returns week in, week out as a forward before his injury. He was very, very good. So keep that in mind. He helped out my FPL team. So anyway, guys, we're going to be moving forward towards our next section, which is the Twitter question. Time for the Twitter question, the weekly Twitter question. Tom FPL has said, do you set any set rules for when you wildcard a certain number of players that are unavailable or out of favor, for example, or do you just quote no? What do you think?
You just know. You just know. I think people don't look too deep into it. Whoever's asking the Twitter question, I'm not a professional at this, and I'm horrible at fantasy. But I think just go for your gut. I was planning to do my wildcard for this week, and then Wei Hong was just like, "Are you crazy?" with the things I was about to do. If you want to change out your whole squad, just do it. If you feel like it, just just go crazy. But yeah, you just no way. You just
You're just you're playing the wild cards like you being a chef. You just put in whatever recipe you want in there. Put in whatever ingredients for whatever you want to make. Mark?
Just true. I don't really have a rule. I just try to get, I guess, more attacking players and like forget about the defense a bit. Like I guess it is a rule. It's like try to get the best attacking players that you can afford and fit them all into your team. Like I did like Salah and Hota. Well, I didn't last week, but if I did do a wildcard, I try to get like Salah and Hota in because you want to at least limit yourself to like 3 really expensive players and then pick off those who are like Saeed Ben Rama earlier with like 6 mil, 7 mil players. And if you can, maybe a 7.5. And then for the defense, you kind of just want wing backs that are just going to bomb up the field and put in crosses in with your wingers, or at least try and get assists. Like you don't really want, when you're playing your wildcard, if you see that your defenders who are more like center backs just aren't playing that well, you get them out, get wing backs in, and then that increases your possibility of points because of how much they attack. Yeah, their attacking returns just skyrocket. And then maybe if, I guess another rule would be like maybe not transfer out your goalkeepers unless they're doing like horrible. And like if your goalkeepers are doing horrible and you know it, gotta get them out. Like get them for someone who's playing well. But if they're doing okay or something like that, just keep them in. There's no need.
Yeah, the goalkeeper difference points they own isn't quite big because they normally just earn 6. Unless if you were me, it was crazy enough to go for Guaita when I could have went for someone like Schmeichel last season. We all know how that happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I normally don't make any goalkeeper transfers until I have the unless if I'm playing the wild card, and I'll see how I need to restructure the team as well. That's another factor why you want to be playing the wild card, and also international break as well. We have more time to tinker with our teams. So, on the topic of wild cards, let's move on to our next section then, to when we're going to show our wildcard drafts. On to our final section of the day then, talking about wildcards, drafts. Now, moving on from our Twitter question, which, was quite smooth transition to our wildcard teams. Mark, this is your wildcard team. Tell us the good bits and why have you chosen them?
I've gone for the main stars are Kane, Salah, Antonio, and Lukaku, which all of these are players that we have already talked about. As you know, Chelsea have a good run of games coming up, except for the Man City game, which would be a bit of a challenge. Tottenham have an alright few game weeks coming up. Same thing with West Ham. Liverpool, on the other hand, are decent games that are coming up. I think for a secret, maybe a surprise would be like someone like Pablo Fornals and Sergi Reguilon, who have come into my team. Mainly Fornals because he's been playing excellent the past 3 game weeks. I believe he's gotten 20 points in total. If I was to check, 20 points in total. 1 assist, 2 goals the past 3 game weeks. And when I'm watching West Ham, he's been playing really well, especially creatively. So, yeah. And I also have Hota on my team because I think he'll be playing the next few games. because Firmino is again.
Yeah. Arthur's a huge FPL asset with the Liverpool double up as well. So if Liverpool does get the two, you might get, double attacking returns in a single attacking play for Liverpool, What do you think of Heath? What do you think of Mark's draft?
Solid. I love it. What do you call? I think it's something that you can like really rely on as I too am looking at it. I think what weirds me out, the only thing that really weirds me out is the fact that you've chosen to go for like a goalkeeper over the price of like 5 million. That is something that I will always commend, just for the fact that like, because I don't spend more than like the bare minimum when it comes to keepers. It's fair enough, but Mendy is one of the best keepers in the league, so I'll take that. Jota and Salah, that's like undroppable right now in my opinion. That's actually like one of the best midfield pairings in the league. If you were to put that into your fantasy, I'll take that. Your reliance on a lot of West Ham players, I like that. I like the grind on that because, West Ham are in good form right now. Kane and Lukaku, fitting both of them into your team is probably the best choice you've made, though, because there's no way that if one doesn't score, the other definitely will. Do you know what I mean? In 1 week.
Yeah.
So like
there's no way that there's going to be a
you
zero
bounce
output.
it out. There's going to be there's no way that one of them won't score in a specific week. Even with Antonio in it, your front three is locked in. So I think Mark is going to have a very comfortable few weeks.
Not even like score, even like assisting. Like if you remember that second the one where Mount missed, that was a Lukaku pass, and that was an amazing pass. Same thing with Kane. I think he got top assist last season as well. So yeah, even if they don't score, there's probably going to be an assist somewhere.
What I'm going to question is, both of our drafts have got Reguilon, but not you. Not Reguilon. Trent Alexander-Arnold, but not you.
Can't afford him. That's all.
Can't afford him.
Yeah, I would have Trent, but
yeah, it's a good justification. I feel like the only justification for not having Trent in your squad is just not being able to afford him to accommodate for the striker. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, I have like 3 players over 10. I have another 2 that are between 6 and 7, and most of my defense is around 4 to 5. Only Reguilon's 5. Like even my bench. Henocus 4.5, 4.6. Basuma again 4.5. Williams 4. Ben Foster 4. Like I went really cheap. Excuse me, defensively, just so I can maximize the output of attack. Like the only thing that would really kick my team down is Antonio getting injured, which I won't be surprised by because of how many games West Ham have. He's going to be playing up front. They don't have a backup striker still. Maybe Yarmolenko, but not too sure. Fornals can get injured kind of easily. Benrahma, maybe not so much. Same thing with Kane and same thing with Reguilon as well. Like my side is known for getting, when they get injured, it's going to be injured out for like a while. Not like someone with like Salah who's only going to be out for like a week or 2. So it's like a high risk, high reward type of thing with my team, I think.
Oh, well, that's Mark's team. He's already played his wild card, so it's, just lessons to be learned. Lessons to be learned. Afif, let's have a look at yours.
Basically.
Yeah. It's quite similar.
So basically, my team is just a normal team. It's just transfers.
Yeah, changes that you would make. Afif, let's have a look at your team then. Have a really, really expensive defense, I must say.
I do. So my keepers haven't changed. It's still Sanchez and Beta. But my back three, that's Premier League winning back three right there. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Luke Shaw, and Alonso from Chelsea. Do I have any reason for keeping Luke Shaw? Not really. But do I want to keep him in? Yes. So I will not be getting rid of Luke Shaw. Trent is the one defender that everybody has to start, in my opinion. So yeah, keep Trent in, and Alonso just fits the prices perfectly for me for what I want to do up front. My midfield, Jota and Mo Salah, those two are essential right now, in my opinion. Undroppable, unplayable. Ben Rama, I said I was going to put him in, and I am. Isma Sarr, I still have him. He's quite expensive, honestly. He like his offset for like how much he is and how much he provides isn't that great. But I think that he was an absolute baller in the championship, and it's only been a few games into the season. I think as he starts getting used to the speed of the Premier League, I think he'll be fine. And Allen, I got him just because he fit the prices really well, and yeah, he's quite reliable. He always starts. But my front two, Antonio, of course. I think I said I was going to start him, but the one, the only Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, while he hasn't played a single game yet, he is Premier League proven. He's the best player in the world. I don't care. I'm putting in Ronaldo. He's gonna take the Premier League by storm. I think he'll be fine putting him in. My bench, Tony, Ivan Tony. He's solid. He's so good. Brandon Williams, I replaced Omobamidele. Is that how you pronounce his name? With Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams, he comes to Norwich. Dyer just fit the prices right. But honestly, this entire team is just built around Jota, Salah, Antonio, and Ronaldo. Everybody else just fit the prices right. But my defense is quite expensive, where I do agree. But, it's a reliable defense. All three of them start. We're good. We're fine.
Yes, especially with the fixtures for Chelsea that are coming up so far. In Ismail Assar, there's a few good options around that price range. Dan James, it remains to be seen if he's going to start or not. Although Bielsa wanted to sign him in the Championship, so he's a Bielsa favourite. Bielsa likes him from what we can see so far. So there's cause for optimism there for Ismail Assar. I'm surprised that you have Eric Dyer in your bench as well.
Yeah, I am too. No, I have him honestly just because the price is right, and I think he's starting.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
He is starting.
Don't worry.
Just against Crystal
He's
Palace.
just there.
Yeah, case well made. Meanwhile, Mark, do you have any last words to say about Afif's team?
That's all that matters. All that number, that only one player matters in that team. I don't know why y'all don't have Ronaldo in your team, guys. Come on.
Ronaldo. Something about Ronaldo. You say that, but it's not bad. It's just I think most people remember him for being this really pacey winger, high. Like you see all the skills, all the shots and stuff. That's not the Ronaldo now. This is a Ronaldo that.
The Ronaldo now is a poacher. You give him a tap.
The Ronaldo now. No. That's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing for him because the Ronaldo now, it's he's slowed down a bit. He's more better in the air. I don't want to see people saying, oh, he's gonna get a lot of goals and assists. I don't think that's really the case. I think it's more just goals. Like maybe you'll see an assist or two there, but it's just mainly going to be goals for him. Because ever since that knee injury that he got in Real Madrid, you would see his numbers slowly declining of regular shots, long shots, and which foot he uses to shoot. Like you're seeing an increase in headers and stuff of him. Like especially that 2-meter jump he did in Juventus like 2 seasons ago. So that's the only thing I want to say about Ronaldo. Nothing bad. It's just people need to change the mindset of how he plays and how he's gonna play for United. He's not gonna be like Martial, or at least what was Martial, where he will want to run into the box, do a few skills, and then cut in the defender, check him out, bye-bye, and then just shoot in to score, right? Like, that used to be Martial under, like, Louis van Gaal whenever he played well. That was his style. That was like Ronaldo last time, but that's not going to be the case this time anymore. So that's all I want to say about him, because expectations need to be changed of what you're about to see from this Ronaldo that I've signed.
Well, sounds like an FPL asset to be desired for most FPL managers for Cristiano Ronaldo, at least. And I believe that he might have set pieces. So, we all love FPL assets with set pieces. Meanwhile, then, let's move on to my team. I'm not going to talk about Ronaldo. I have him in my team. I've got two premium forwards, Ronaldo, Lukaku. Dennis, he's just there. He's just there. Emmanuel Dennis. My midfielders, I don't know why I've gone backwards, but my midfielders, I have Havertz. He's quite a big, he's quite expensive. The reason why I wanted him, because, if I wanted to change to a new midfielder, it's quite easy because I can get to most midfielders from the prices. I have Salah, he's a must-have. He's got good coming fixtures. Ferran Torres, is someone I'm on the fence about, he seems to be starting. Man City haven't signed a striker, so I believe for now he's going to be starting most games, which is quite good. Trincao, I don't want to talk much about him. I've already talked about him in previous sections. Trent, he's a player, he's a must-have. I don't know why Mark hasn't got him in his team, probably because he was too expensive. Ben White, centre-back, Arsenal. Mark suggested that Arsenal have got good coming fixtures. He's in there. Antonio Rudiger, he's just there. He's quite good. I might replace him with Eric Dyer or someone like that. And then everyone else, he's just there. But this is a team that I didn't think much about it. I kind of, just faffed around with it. And then this is what I came up with as good potential FPL options. What do you guys think?
I guess the only downside I see, like, properly, right, is two things. Ferran Torres, because the legendary Pep Guardiola rotation system. You don't know who's going to play, so slight gamble, but we know that Ferran Torres is an amazing player up front, even though he's supposed to be a winger. That's interesting. And Antonio Rudiger, because my argument is mainly because of creative output. Maybe defensively, it will be good, getting the clean sheet points, that would be good. But if we were to look at it overall, like, even some of the teams that Chelsea are going to face soon, like, we have that Villa game. I think there's potential for us to concede at least once. Man City and Tottenham game, same thing. Southampton, no. Brentford, you never know what's going to happen with Brentford. There's a rare chance against Norwich, Newcastle, no. Like, they are, like, okay, then we just look at the top 6 or top 10 in general. Leicester, probably. Man United, most likely. West Ham, interestingly, yes. Same thing with Leeds. Like, defensively, Chelsea are amazing, but that does not mean they're not gonna concede, right? Like, we'll concede like 1, maybe 2, like, if we're facing United or City. But we're not gonna concede like 4, 5, 6, or like 4, 3 or 4 goals, whatever. Which is why I'd rather, if you want to stick to like a defensive Chelsea player, I'd rather have someone like Alonso or or even Reece James like a game week later after his red card is over. So yeah.
What do you think?
Honestly, I don't really mind the defense thing. I think, I mean, Mark knows more about Chelsea than I do, so I'll just take his word for it. But, the fact that you've been able to fit in Mo Salah, Romelu Lukaku, and Cristiano Ronaldo, if you don't get points from people scoring and assisting, I don't know what else to say, but I props to you on that, fitting 3 of them in.
And Ferran Torres and Trent.
And Fran Torres and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So you did a lot of you squeezed all your budget, and I'll give you props for that because this is a solid team. I'll give you props.
This is a great team, though. Yeah,
it's a great team. It's a really good team.
You want to know what would be more crazy? Let's say maybe theoretically, if we get rid of Havertz for maybe a small cheaper midfielder. And then
James
you
Harrison.
replace Emmanuel Dennis with Kane somehow. If you can somehow fit someone else that's above 10 million and then just get someone really cheap in the midfield, I think that would be really
that would be the dream FPL team.
Yeah, removing Torres, Havertz, and then Dennis, obviously, and then getting Kane and really cheap, 4 mil, 5 mil players. I think that'll be really fun.
Yeah, I'd like to see how this team plans out, to be honest. I'm very, very tempted to. Although I'm not going to be playing my wild card, This is the template, This is the template. So, someone might go and copy it. You never know.
Yeah.
Oh well then. If we don't have anything more to say, this brings us to an end for our off-week FPL podcast. Still a lot to talk about, as we've seen probably in the length of this episode, went longer than expected, despite not being an FPL game week coming up. Thank you guys all for coming today. If you're new around here, do subscribe, leave a comment, follow my socials down below. FPL_FantasyCast on Instagram and Twitter. If you would like to play against us in FPL, the auto join links is down below. Or if you guys like to use the code, it's 55AQS0. I'll repeat, it's 55AQS0. Any last words, guys, before we head off to our break?
He's coming home. 21 is coming. Ole's at the wheel. Nothing else to say.
Mark?
Double mask, face shield if you can, and hand sanitizer, but don't get the really wet ones because they're not that great actually.
I like the really wet
But yes,
ones.
stay safe and social distance.
Stay safe, everybody. Stay safe.
Yeah. Cool. See ya.